Okay, so today we're going to go over part 4 of the data analytics project, part 4. And this is the last of 4 parts for the data analytics project. And there's a few new things that we need to add to our project. And then we're all done. So it's pretty exciting. One of the advantages of this project is that with the work that you've completed, you can use this as something to refer back to in other classes that you go through as part of your business curriculum. So as with before, the overview is the same, and the data set, we've included the same information as before, which is all of this, which is the stuff that you should already have in your previous work. Now, what's new is this component here. We have to add new data. Now, in As You Learn, there should be a file when you download the assignment. It's called Store Attributes. And here are the details of those store attributes. Now, there's the store name, the store number, store city, location. Also, fast food, which is an integer, is the number of competing fast food restaurants nearby, and then other competition, which is the number of non-fast food restaurants close by. All right, so you can take a look at the data, and we'll just talk about that shortly once we get into it. But I want to point out one specific thing. First is this store number, right, which is a unique integer, right, and it also corresponds with the store number here. All right, so these are the same identifiable numbers. So that's going to be important because we're going to use a VLOOKUP later, and we're going to reference that store number. Okay. So as with before, we're going to prepare our workbook. This time we're going to take what we did in part 3, and we're going to go ahead and make it part 4. So let's get started with that. And then update our documentation, and then we'll get in with the next aspect. So this is what I had for part 3. This is the video aspect. And so let me just go back to the very beginning, my documentation. This is going to be part 4. And today is, today is 420. Just for fun, let's just make this 420 also. There we go. Now they're going to match up, right? And so what should be here, of course, is that today formula. All right, so that's our documentation. Let's go save as. Let's put it in our project 4 folder, and I'm just going to change this to project 4, and this is for the video. So of course yours is going to be a little different. Of course, last time we made these trend charts, so those are already in place. We had a lot of fun. We should have narratives. We've made descriptives. We've made quarterly, monthly financial analysis. We have a category analysis. We have an item analysis. This has been fun. Now we have this data transactions. But now we need to add some more data, which is going to end up coming here at the very end of this current data set. So let's start with this. Let's go to, here it is. We're going to open that file that should be available to you on As You Learn. All right, so this is that data set, and you notice down here it's already got a name, and it's got the column headers should be just as described, and you'll notice that this is data on each store. It's not a big data set, so you don't have to worry too much about great detail, but we want to be able to put this into our data so that way we can start to take a look at what the store location is. Is it in a strip mall? Is it a big box store, or is it a freestanding store? Also, these integers here, as far as the competition and other types of things, these kind of help take a look at a couple of attributes of the store. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually copy this and move it into our AppWitch project. and I can't remember where we said we're going to move it to. So for now, I'm going to put it right before, well, I'm going to move it to the end. I'm going to move it to the end. And then I'll move it back around later. I'll have to go look at the instructions. So once I've made this move, the store attributes into this file, I'm going to go ahead and save it. I'm going to go to my other worksheet here, which is the store attributes that I just opened. I'm going to close that one so I don't have any other errors. Come back here. All right. So the instructions telling us download the resource file, add this worksheet into our current workbook, place this before the data transactions. Okay, so that's where I made my mistake. Come back here. So this is simple. I'm just going to move it here before the data transactions. All right, great. Now we're going to copy the last 4 column headers and then put these into the last 4 of our data transactions. All right. So copy these, go to our data transactions, paste. Okay, boom. It's already there. All right, it's okay if it moves around. I'm just going to go ahead and make an automatic with. Double click, works out. All right, now I want to do a VLOOKUP for each of these. So I'm going to go equal to VLOOKUP. I want to look up the store number, which for me is in column C, right? So, and then I know that I'm going to want to copy this formula over a couple times. So I'm going to go ahead and select column C, and I'm going to go ahead and just make sure that C is made into an absolute reference. Okay. All right, so after I made it C2, okay, the table that I'm going to look up is in store attributes. Now this is the most important part. So some people might make an error and they'll select the whole entire chart. And we don't want that, because in order for a VLOOKUP to work, the first column needs to be the reference number. So it's important to select only starting with column B, which is a store number, right? And we have this whole portion of it inside our formula. So we're going to make that an absolute reference because I don't want to make a change. All right, and then I'm going to hit comma, and then the first column index. Well, the first one is going to be column number 2, right? Why do I know it's column number 2? Because I'll show you in a minute. And then, of course, I want an exact match. This is the most important part. We want to make sure we do an exact match, which is false. Okay, now why do I know that was column 2 in this one? So what I'm talking about is that number right there. Well, I know that's column 2 because I come back to the store attributes, and if you remember, this here was my first column, and then I selected the rest. So this is column 1, and this is column 2, and so store city, right? Come back here, store city, that's column 2. Now, if I did this correctly, I can copy this left to right. Now, you'll notice that it'll always say the city name, and it's because of that column number right there. Well, there's ways around this that you can make this formula able to be copied, but for the simplicity of this exercise, we're just going to go ahead and change those columns. So for store location, make sure that one's column 3. For competitive fast food, make sure that's column 4. And then also for competition other, just make sure that is listed at column 5. If you copied everything correctly, you should now have the city, the location, and whatnot that's corresponding to the number. We're going to go ahead and take these formulas and just copy and paste it down for the rest of our data set. And I'm going to hit save, and this has placed all of the data into our data set. So I've given you some information here inside the instructions. So that should also be able to help you out with working on it. So in the next video, and then here is the example results. In the next video, we're going to start here with item number 7. All right. Very well. We'll talk to you soon.